So we are on to a segment we all love, very beloved to us, called Based on a True Story. This is where Luke and I are film producers, and we will be live pitching our latest film to producer In and Out. We are going into a studio right now. We're taking you along with us to try and land this film's financing. Just to, put it in perspective, we are basing this off of a real life headline. So it's based on a true story.
All right, so we're stepping into Revolving Door Studios.
We're going to Revolving Door Studios.
Here with a producer In and Out.
In and out every day. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
What's going on, guys? How you doing today? Let's make this meeting quick. Get it in and out, okay?
Okay, great. Absolutely can. So we have a film ready for you that's based on a true story. That's based on a story so crazy and so unbelievable that we just had to make it into a film. It's about a herd of deer that overruns a Wisconsin pub, and one even smashes through the window. So we open this film. We're up in Wisconsin, the land of milk and cheese and Aaron Rodgers. And we are just leaving a Packers game, and we're going to the pub. Okay, like this, our main character, Jimmy John. Jimmy John is walking dejectedly. The Packers just lost; they're out of the playoffs, and he's walking to his favorite pub in Wisconsin. Okay, and it's a little bit out of town, so he's got a bit of a walk, and he's just thinking about the glory days and when the Packers were great, right?
You should be doing something different.
He's riding his bicycle, and he's getting there sooner, and then he runs into his other buddy who's riding another bicycle.
He should run into something different, I think.
He's running into a figment of his imagination with his dad, who passed away from back in the days when they were watching Packers games together. So him and his dad are riding their bikes. His imaginary ghost dad is with him, and it's Jimmy John and his dad Billy Bob, or Bobby Lee we call him. And they get to their favorite pub.
Yeah, they're riding their bikes, and then kind of curious. We saw a lot more deer than we had expected. Him talking, he's kind of going crazy. Maybe he's thinking he's crazy seeing these deer because he's crazy talking to his figment of his dad.
Yeah.
He's like, rolls up, ties up his bike, steps in the front door, looks around, and he's got the regular crowd after a game, and walks up. He's like, "I'll have a Miller High Life, sir."
I think you should have something different.
I'll take a clean whiskey.
I think you should have something different.
Give me 7 and 7. I'm feeling a little frisky, and his dad sits down next to him, and he's like, "Oh, and 2 shots of Patron."
I think it should be something different.
And 2 shots of ginger ale. Kind of stomach's acting up a little bit.
Should be something different.
Actually, if you could give me some Jägermeister, that'd hit the spot.
Should be something different.
Can I just get some Tito's, just straight Tito's, and we'll be good to go. So he's got his 7 and 7 and Tito's, and here's to you, Dad. Throws it back. And he looks up. Now there's a Bucks game on TV.
Yeah,
because that's just the season.
Should be something different.
There's this hunting show on TV. Guys in their orange vests, and they're pulling in 12-pointers.
Yeah,
and you got the people at the bar like kind of this is what I'm talking about. I'm about to go out next weekend.
Yeah.
And they're just getting all sorts of riled up over this competition that they're seeing.
Yeah, and so Jimmy John is there talking with this new guy, this side character, and they're talking about hunting. And when all of a sudden, this is in the first 10 minutes of the film, right? This deer, this giant buck, comes flying through the front window of the pub. And then it just turns into chaos. There's deer everywhere. They're flying into this pub. People are going nuts all over the place. It's just a complete havoc scene, but it's like an action scene with deer.
Yeah.
And Bobby Lee is like saying to his son, like, you need to get to higher ground.
It should be something different.
He's saying, you need to get behind the bar.
It should be something different.
He's saying, you have to get to the men's room.
I think it should be something different.
You have to get to the women's room. And so Jimmy John, who trusts his dad and loves his dad completely, just goes straight for the beeline. And it's actually good that he did this, because as he's going into the women's room, another giant buck comes charging in and just blasts into the men's room, and you just hear screams. You just hear a dude in there just screaming. Yeah. And so essentially he's taking shelter in the women's room with a new woman named Chris Connie. She's a woman, right?
I think it should be something different.
Her name is Jennifer Jangles. Jennifer Jangles. That's her last.
It should be somebody different.
Her name is Megan Mallory. Her name is Megan Mallory.
It should be something different.
Her name is Zoe Zahida. Okay, so Zoe Zahida and him went to high school together. And they didn't realize they were back in town. And she's like, "What's going on out there?" And it's just like this huge action scene. And they have to fight their way out of the pub now through all these like rabid deer. We figure out that they are rabid deer.
Yeah, these deer have gone crazy, and they're taking over the town. Because you get the prelude from before. So they're walking through. Zoe and Jimmy are walking through, and they start creeping out. They're like, kind of like, is the coast clear? And they're peeking their head out, and then as they're about to get up, they step on the broken glass.
It should be something different they step on.
So these tables are like broken and shattered, and
It should be something different.
They slip on a bologna sandwich that was there from earlier, and so Jimmy goes down and he makes a ruckus, and the deer turn back to the bar that were outside, and they're like, "Oh no, we gotta go. We can't stay in here. They know we're in here now." So Zoe and Jimmy, they start, running around the corner. They're looking for, ladders, to climb. So they jump up on the trash, the trash can, bin thing. I can't think of the word. Dumpster.
They should jump on something different.
So there's like an air conditioning unit that they can stand up. So Jimmy's lifting up Zoe like to climb up, and so Zoe gets up, and then Jimmy starts climbing, and a deer's like grabs him by the ankle. And so he's like fighting and trying to kick and all that stuff, and he finally gets up, and so then they climb up, and they scope around like, what is going on with all these deer?
Yeah.
And yeah.
So Jimmy realizes that he has to go get his hunting gear, which they were talking about earlier in the bar. Like everybody's in a hunt. Like there's a couple other people on the roof who made it on. And they say, "Look, like something's going on with all these deer. We got to get to our homes. They can see across the street is the hunting supply store."
Yeah.
And they can see that it's still open, and there's people in there that have barricaded the door, so that if we can get over to the hunting store, we can eradicate all these deer. So they hatch a plan. They are on the roof. They start pulling up shingles on the roof, and they start like throwing them at stuff at cars to like hit them, so they start beeping. And then they run across the street. It's not too long of a segment because we want to get into the store fast, right?
Yeah.
So they got there, and now they're arming up. Everybody's grabbing their weapons of choice. Jimmy John he grabs a shotgun, like a 12-gauge shotgun. And Zoe, she grabs like a big revolver.
She should grab something different.
She grabs a bow, like a bow and arrow.
She should grab something different.
She's like a total badass and just kills deer with like a knife. Like she just goes up. She's that fast. She's good with a knife. So Jimmy John with the shotgun. She's got the knife. And then you got the store owner, because all those other people on the roof got killed on the way over, because it's like this big kind of like fight scene. And the guy who's the store owner was a good friend of his dad, Bobby Lee, and his name is Georgie Porgy. And Georgie Porgy is like full on like hunter rifle guy, like full kitted out.
Yeah, he's dressed to the nines, if you will, as much as a hunter can be. Because he takes off the orange vest and he puts on the camo.
Yeah.
He just looks like a whole montage. He's like, this is the day he's been waiting for his whole life. He's like, finally, the deer come to me.
He should say something different.
He said, let's get buck on the bucks.
He should say something different.
He said, Jimmy, I've known you since you was a little boy, and you know me since you were a little boy, but you're about to see a monster out there. And he kicks open the door. Whee! Bam! He like starts pumping and shooting. He's just kind of going crazy, like shooting, reload. He's I'm out, Jimmy. And this is kind of like the the hero moment for him as he steps out and he's shooting. He's like he kind of has a moment of not doing well.
Yeah.
And he chokes. And that's when you see this buck. We kind of get this visual. This buck starts charging through. This is a big buck. He starts knocking cars out of the way. Just massive, charging at the owner. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. I'm just so
Georgie
Porgy. My bad. Georgie Porgy is a sitting duck in this situation.
He's
reloading, and he kind of fumbled around, but he was so in the zone. And then that's when Jimmy John has this moment, like he's like, and he's trying to get his gun out. And then that's when Zoe Zahida kind of steps in, super style. She steps up in front of Georgie Porgy and just stands there, waits for the deer, the big buck coming, and just as he comes, just you hear a fing, and sitting there. And then the head flies over, the body goes the other way. Georgie's like, frantic and sweating, and Jimmy's falling in love at this point.
Jimmy says, "I think I just creamed my pants."
Should be something different.
He says, "I think I'm in love."
Should be something different.
Damn, that girl is buck wild. And they realize they make it to Georgie Porgy's truck. They get on the CB radio. They find out there's a bunch of other survivors down at City Hall. They get into the truck and they start driving. It's a crazy scene. These deer are chasing him. They're like hitting the side of the car. Georgie Porgy's trying to drive. Jimmy finally realizes he's gotta protect the woman he loves. He gets crawls through the back window. He's in the back of the truck. And he's shooting shotguns out of the back of the truck as they're driving to town. And
he's doing something different.
He's throwing gas cans out of the back and shooting them, and it's a huge explosion. It's a really cool scene. Very creative, hillbilly creativity. Yeah. And they finally get to the town center where a bunch of other people have barricaded themselves inside the town.
They've done something else.
They've just pretty much climbed onto the roof again. These people like to climb onto roofs in this town.
They do something different.
They fortified the rec center swimming pool, so they're in the water, but it's surrounded by sandbags and stuff. So the deer don't want to jump in the water either, so they stay out. So everyone gets in the water except for Bobby Lee, who we've kind of forgotten about, right? He's like, "I'm a ghost. I can't get in the water."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why, Dad? Why can't ghosts go in water?" He's like, "Long story, but I just can't, so I'm going to have to leave you now." So they kind of have this heartfelt goodbye, and Bobby Lee just says, "Son, I'm proud of you, and I'm always going to be proud of you."
He says something different.
He says, "Nice shot, son."
He said something different.
He said, "Go get that woman, son."
He says something different.
Son, it's mating season.
So then they're, romantic scene, and as they finish, as they come out of the, the deep end, the crowd, the people of the town are talking, and there's, this guy, he's like, "Actually, I've seen this, I've heard about this before happening," and he has this this formula that they have to get, and it's actually some shampoo that they need, and it has a special ingredient in the shampoo.
It's something different.
It's actually antifreeze is what they need.
It's something different.
It's actually grape jelly is what they need. And so
we could have got this at the bar.
They could have got this at the bar, is what Georgie Porgy's saying.
Yeah.
So now the end of the movie, they're trying to get this grape jelly and then put it on some salt licks, and it's going to counteract the rabidness. So just kind of to wrap this up in a way, got the love scene. You have now in the pool. Everyone's kind of like
everyone's still there.
Yeah.
But the heat is so hot between these two.
They're
just under the water, and they can't see it. The other people can't see it because it's under the water.
Yeah. So now they got to make their way back either to the bar or the grocery store. Kind of, they're trying to decide. They're going to send out two groups. So Zoe and Jimmy, they make their way, and Georgie, they're squad one going to get this grape jelly.
Yeah, and so they do it. They get the jelly. They start applying it to salt licks. I mean, they've pretty much had to obliterate all the deer in their area. but they need to spread the word out to the rest of the country and make sure that this deer scientist essentially came up with a formula. And essentially, it comes to light that at the end of the film, Aaron Rodgers was actually on his drive home after the loss was actually pummeled to death by deer. Like they flipped his car and they just hooved him to death. And so Jimmy, we kind of forgot to plant it, but you kind of plant it in the beginning of the movie that he's like this. He was a quarterback prospect and all that. And after surviving, and with a lot of NFL players just decimated around the country from all these deer attacks, he actually gets to step in and be the Packers QB. And the end of the movie, he's at the stadium. He's taking the field. Zoe Zahida is in the front row cheering him on, and sitting right behind her is his dad, clapping, tips his hunting cap to him, and just
it's hunting season.
It's hunting season, and that's where the movie ends.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wild ride, fellas.
Oh yeah.
It start to finish, it's a romance story wrapped in like a zombie deer movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have a title for this movie yet?
Oh yeah, of course we do. It's Buck Till the Day I Die. And
you like that?
Yeah, I do like that.
yeah, I thought you'd like that one. So yeah, it's keep on bucking is
That's
the second
tagline.
one.
That's the tagline.
What's the
Keep on
tagline?
bucking.
Keep on bucking.
It should be
Keep
something
on
different.
Oh. Nuck if you buck.
Should be something different.
It's mating season. It's from the movie. It's
Yeah.
mating season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like it.
Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. That was another one we were playing around with. So yeah, that was it. What was it? Buck.
It's high noon in Bucktown.
Buck till you drop.
What's it?
Buck till you drop.
Yeah, buck.
Buck your butt off.
Beers are $2, and bucks are everywhere.
$2 beer night.
Yeah.
So that's it.
This is good. Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
So who's gonna be our lead actor in this?
We were thinking Andrew Garfield.
Oh no, should be somebody different for sure.
Toby Maguire.
Yeah, that's gonna work. That'll work.
Anybody who's played Spider-Man.
Yes. Those are our front runners.
We think that'd be really good for the market.
Yeah.
Well,
Buck till you drop. What is it?
I forgot.
oh, this is great. This is great stuff.
Got the movie made. We got the movie
It's
made.
good. It's good.
I would definitely buy this movie, fellas. I think you got a deal.
Done.